Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Alright, another entry here based on one of your newer suggestions. I'll probably give one or two more videos after this and then give this series a rest for a little while and then start focusing on some other stuff. This one has to do with a pretty fascinating suggestion in the sense that it could be a long lost cousin of sorts of a previously thought extinct animal. So this was truly something that existed a long time ago, but to this day there are rumors that it is still abound. Like somewhere in the regions of this world, this cryptid or a long lost cousin of it is still roaming those parts of the world, and it has to do with this very nice, fascinating looking creature known as the Ennedi Tiger, which immediately tells you what I was referring to earlier when I was saying long lost. It's basically a living saber-tooth cat that is living somewhere purportedly in parts of Africa. So here's all the information associated with it, including two variations of this Ennedi Tiger, one involving a cave dwelling one and then one involving a water type, if you could believe it. So pretty fascinating stuff. Let's go ahead and let's share all that information here for you. So what is this Ennedi tiger? Well, basically all it is, it's a living saber-toothed tiger, something that has existed all these years past its previous known point of extinction. These saber-toothed tigers, they're around for a long time, but then they stopped existing somewhere over 10,000 years ago here on this planet. And ever since then, they've just been considered extinct. But if you consider this Ennedi tiger as a living saber-toothed tiger, here's where you have to go to find it. It purportedly lives in the Sub-Saharan Africa area, particularly here in an area called Chad. And if you go within that specific location, if you go to certain mountains, in this case the Ennedi mountain range, hence the name of it being the Ennedi tiger, then that's where you'll find this creature. You're looking at some of the mountains, for example, right here. Very distinct looking mountains. One can easily tell how easy it would be for a creature like this to hide amongst these mountains throughout all of these hundreds, if not thousands of years. Because again, the last known living saber-toothed tiger was well past over 10,000 or so years ago. But now, if they truly passed all that time living on this earth in this region, it would make perfect sense for it to live within these mountains. As far as how they look and how they basically come across as, they look like just your average saber-toothed tiger, the ones you and I see within museums nowadays. They're larger than a lion, but the key distinction is that the ones that dwell into the mountains actually lack a tail. So that was pretty fascinating to read. I was trying to think of why this particular type of Ennedi tiger would be lacking a tail. Couldn't really come up with a reason. So if anyone has any distinct notion for that, that'd be great to hear. But otherwise everything else is the same. They have these very large teeth that come out from the top of its mouth, much like a saber-toothed tiger. And then the bottom feet, I guess, are supposed to be pretty hairy as well, probably to help it adapt, I guess, to the hot conditions there within Africa. And with it having a specific coloration of sorts, it's reddish and brown with white stripes, so one can easily see this creature with its distinct patterns, unlike anything else, I guess, that looks something like today. And it is so large that it can very simply take care of large antelopes. In fact, according to the people that have seen this Ennedi tiger there on the mountain ranges, they have seen it carry off large antelopes within its mouth and then take it back within its caves. And you're looking again at these pictures of the caves themselves. That's basically where it roams. It simply finds a spot there. It's known to be nocturnal, so basically just living out its life during the night, but otherwise during the day it is dwelling within those caves of the Ennedi mountain range. Pretty fascinating, because again, I love that notion that if you wanted to go find a particular set of cryptids, I absolutely love the ones where they have a very distinct place that they live at. So if you happen to go by those areas in Africa, they're located in Chad, and you happen to go to the Ennedi mountain range, you have a pretty good chance of coming across or seeing, or who knows, even hearing this Ennedi tiger. Now there's another one that I was mentioning earlier called a water type, and in this case it seems to be even larger than the Ennedi tiger, and it is known to be very, very fierce. It has the same type of teeth, the same kind of red and white markings I was mentioning earlier. However, its teeth seems to be even longer because it's been described as being walrus-like. So imagine, your average walrus, they don't have the smaller, I guess, teeth that you and I would think of with a saber-toothed tiger. No, in this case, these are much longer, much more protruding, and a key difference is this water type Ennedi tiger does have a tail, unlike the other one, the mountain range one, that does not. But yes, otherwise this one is supposed to delve within various parts of Africa that have large, I guess, if you could consider them bodies of water. They're supposed to be there in the Congo, in Angola, in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, and then also in Sudan. And there also seems to be cave drawings tying to this creature, to this specific Ennedi tiger, at least the water type that's there. So all pretty fascinating information involving the two versions of this Ennedi tiger. But otherwise, there haven't been too many recent reports of sightings of this creature. It seems to remain pretty elusive. It seems to be doing a pretty good job, in fact, of it. Much like anything in the world involving cryptids, they just don't want to be bothered, or they know that they would much rather not have any contact with humans. I could imagine, though, that place, again, there in Africa is a perfect spot nonetheless, because who would imagine like a large group of people living out in those areas? Now in that case, I would imagine in some of those portions they have probably never seen a human, like all the animals there, in generations of animals, like decades essentially. So imagine something like this just perfectly living out its life within that area, except every now and then someone coming across it. I was trying to find too if there was any known instance of somebody stating information like from the Western world about their encounters with it, like any hunters, any authors, anyone else that just happened to be roaming within that portion of Africa. But no, unfortunately not. It seems like all the tales tied to this Ennedi tiger just come from the people that live within those regions, and they just passed it down from so much so. In fact, the description is that it's natives who have told this tales of this Ennedi tiger to those that are considered Western explorers. And the closest identification regarding this Ennedi tiger seems to be a long lost saber-toothed tiger called, oh, this is a doozy of a name, but I hope I'm saying it right. It's called the Macha erotis, and it was also a very large saber-toothed tiger that lived in certain parts of Africa, since just like this one, and then also Europe, Asia, and North America. But that's it. That's really all the information tied to this Ennedi tiger. If anyone has any more info they'd like to share, anybody else traveled to Africa, happen to have that fortune of traveling there and then hearing these stories of this, that'd be really good to hear. I remember there was that movie too a couple of years back that starred what was his name, Val Kilmer, I think, involving a very fierce lion of some sort. If you could just imagine something like that, but switching it with this Ennedi tiger, then you could probably imagine the tales that the natives had when they came across, those that happen to live there in Africa right now, those when they come across this Ennedi tiger. So alright everybody, thanks again as always, take care.